policy.
This is our receptionist, Pam. Pam! Pam! Pam!
Son Theo.
That's what she said. That's what she said. That's what she said.
Who is it, Michael? How is it possible that in 5 years I've had 2 engagement rings and only 1 chair?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Darren Rose Mantong. We are here today to talk about the Department of Tourism. The Department of Tourism, or DOT, is the executive department of the Philippine government, responsible for the regulation of the Philippine tourism industry and the promotion of the Philippines as a tourist destination. The history of Department of Tourism. The Department of Tourism was started as a private initiative to promote the Philippines. As a major travel destination, the Philippine Tourist and Travel Association was organized in 1950. In 1956, the Board of Travel and Tourist Industry was created by Congress, as stipulated in the Integrated Reorganization Plan in 1972. Sanctioned as a law under Presidential Decree No. 2. As amended, the Department of Trade and Tourism was established and reorganizing the Department of Commerce and Industry. A Philippine Tourism Commission was created under the Unified Trade and Tourism Department to oversee the growth of the tourism industry as a source of economic benefit for the country. In 1973, President Ferdinand Marcos created a new cabinet-level Department of Tourism, or DOT, by splitting the Department of Trade and Tourism into 2 separate departments. Included in the new Department of Tourism, the agency Philippine Tourism Authority, or PTA, and the Philippine Convention Bureau, or PCB, were created. The Department of Tourism was then renamed Ministry of Tourism as a result of the shift in the form of government pursuant to the enforcement of 1973 Constitution. I will now give the screen to our next reporter, Ailea Giboni.
So here's the continuation of the history of the Department of Tourism. In 1986, the Aquino administration sought to put more cohesiveness into the functions of the Department of Tourism. Under Executive Order Numbers 120 and 120A, signed by President Corazon Aquino, further strengthening the operation of the Philippine Convention Bureau, the Department of Tourism was reorganized and correspondingly renaming the Bureau as the Philippine Convention and Visitors Corporation, and the Intramuros administration was attached, previously being under the defunct Ministry of Human Settlements, thereby amending Presidential Decree No. 1448, Series of 1978, and for other purposes. So in year 1998, the Department of Tourism assumed a prominent role in culmination of centennial celebration of the country's independence from the Spanish Empire in 1898. In 2003, the Department of Tourism initiated one of its most successful tourism promotion projects, Diwao, Philippines, under Secretary and now is Senator Richard J. Gordon. The latest improvements in the tourism industry in the country came about with the passage of Republic Act No. 9593 or the Tourism Act of 2009, an act declaring a national policy for tourism as an engine of investment, employment, growth and national development, and strengthening the Department of Tourism and its attached agencies to effectively and efficiently implement that policy and appropriating funds. Therefore, the Department of Tourism shall be primary planning, programming, coordinating, implementing, and regulating government agency in the development and promotion of the tourism industry, both domestic and international, in coordination with its attached agencies and other government instrumentalists. So that's the end of the history of Department of Tourism. I will now give the screen to our next reporter, Miss Marietta Garcia.
Hi guys, so the topic that I'm going to discuss is the organization structure of Department of Tourism. So in the Department of Tourism, the department is headed by the Secretary of Tourism. The Secretary of Tourism is the head of the Department of Tourism and is a member of the President's Cabinet. The current secretary is Bernadette Romulo Puyat, who assumed office on May 11, 2018. So what you can see in your screen is the following four undersecretaries and assistant secretaries. So, Monisha. Undersecretary for Administration and Special Concerns, Undersecretary for Public Affairs, Communications and Special Projects, Undersecretary for Tourism Development Planning, Undersecretary for Tourism Regulation, Coordination and Resource Generations, Undersecretary for Administration and Special Concerns. And each undersecretaries has a assistant secretaries. Assistant Secretary for Administration and Special Concerns, Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, Communications and Special Projects, Assistant Secretary for Tourism Development Planning, Assistant Secretary for Tourism Regulation, Coordination and Resource Generation for Luzon and Visayas, Assistant Secretary for Tourism Regulation, Coordination and Resource Generation for Metro Manila Cluster. So, this organization structures also determines how information flows between levels within the organization within the organization. Having an organizational structure in place allows companies to remain efficient and focused. This organization structure outlines how certain activities are directed to achieve the goals of an organization. Successful organizational structures define each employee's job and how it fits within the overall system. So that's it. See you on next presentation. Thanks for your time and attention. I will give the screen to the next reporter. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. So I'll be continuing the report of Miss Marietta Garcia and Francesca Leamatiga on your line, and we will be tackling about the bureaus and offices of the Department of Tourism. So let's proceed. So first we have here is the Bureau of Domestic Tourism Promotions and Information. So all of these bureaus and offices can be found on the Executive Order number 290, Book 4, Title 8, Chapter 4 of Bureaus and Offices, signed on July 25, 1987, Chapter 4 of Bureaus and Offices. So it's written here that in Bureaus of Domestic Tourism Promotions and Information, the Bureau of Domestic Tourism Promotion and Information shall have the following functions. So it is to organize o mag-coordinate sa programs of public relations, promotions, and publicity, and mag-encourage ba sa mga domestic tourism ay mag-encourage ba sa overseas na visitors to travel throughout the Philippines. Kaduha ni nga function is mo-design o provide support para sa dissemination sa materials para ma-public na siya sa tourist attractions in the Philippines. Magpromote po na siya educational and cultural tours to increase travel within the country, our Philippines. Number 3, mo-promote siya o organize o mo-provide sa support sa tourist councils. Number 4, mo-plan po siya promotional campaigns, through advertising po o publicity o mo-coordinate po siya promotional of efforts with the private sector through sales, campaigns, and information dissemination. And lastly, mo-organize og special events o mo-promote po siya local na destination. Mao na siya ang function sa Bureau of Domestic Tourism Promotions and Information. So next, we have the Bureau of International Tourism Promotions. So ang kani nga office or bureau, kani nga bureau dapat mo have na siya sa following na functions. Number 1, dapat siya mo-generate og favorable nga publicity sa Philippines. Kaduha, dapat siya mo-disseminate og current nga informasyon sa country og mga tourist na products. Number 3, dapat mo-provide og support sa private sector in the promotional campaign. Number 4, dapat po siya mo-organize og mga special events para mo-promote sa country o sa mga tourist nga destination. Number 5, mo-gather po siya market, intelligence, and research information sa mga turista nga mo-market through sa foreign field offices. Ika-unom, mo-monitor sa mga trends o mga developments sa international tourism through foreign field offices. Number 7, dapat po siya mo-organize o mo-set up o participate sa international meetings, mga conference o mga convention sa tourism. O lastly, dapat po siya mo-supervise o foreign field offices. Mo-charge nga coordinating o mag-assist sa marketing o sa promotional activities o program sa isa ka department. So next, we have Office of Tourism Information. So, the Office of Tourism Information shall also have the following functions. 1, dapat siya mo-promote og continuing wholesome and informative nga relationship between sa department o sa traveling of public. Number 2, mo-cause po siya widest publicity of existing and forthcoming activities o programs sa isa ka department through functional relationships sa mga media. O dapat po siya mo-organize o mo-disseminate sa promotional and tourist information materials para sa mga lahi-lahi nga turista nga assistant centers. We have the Office of Tourism Standards. It should also have the following functions. So, dapat maaprubahan ang constitution nga standards sa tourism nga oriented establishment, including ang hotel, mga resort, inns, motels, ug other mga related facilities o services. and mga prescribed na information mga mag-report sa purchase, sa sale o sa mga pag-abang o sa accredited na tourism-oriented facilities para maka-ensure og harmonious og nindot nga og positive nga constructive development sa isa ka tourism industry. Dapat po siya ma-formulate og operating standards para sa tourism-oriented establishments, including yapon ang mga hotel, mga resort, mga restaurant, inns, motels, ug other gyapon nga related facilities and services nga mag-prescribe og minimum levels of operating quality and efficiency para maka-ensure ang facility kay og personal services kay ma-maintain accordance sa acceptable og local and international norms in operations of tourism-oriented establishments. So, katulo is dapat siya mag-regulate and issue licenses to qualified travel agencies in accordance with the rules and regulations promulgated by the Secretary. 4. This office should also dapat po siya mo encourage of formation of industry associations for accreditations by the department. Kalima, dapat siya mo assist og auditioning Filipino entertainers in order to project properly and maka-enhance sa Filipino image in the entertainment field ug thereby mo gain og better international respect and reputation. Diba? Dapat yun ma-expose siya Filipino kay entertainers lain kayo og pagdungdong kag mga resorts no nga dili Pinoy ang mga entertainers kay lain kay paminawon niya sa Philippines. So in order to project properly ug mo enhance sa Filipino nga image, so dapat pula entertainment field kay napuy Filipino entertainers para maka gain pug respect sa international og mga reputation. So number 6, we have dapat po siya mo-coordinate sa tanang agencies na concerned sa enforcement sa rules or regulations promulgated by the department. So next we have here is the Office of Tourism Development Planning. So kani siya dapat po siya naa siya sa following functions. Mo-formulate siya plans, policies para sa development sa tourism industry, including but not limited to national tourism and the identification of master physical plans for tourism zones within the country. Ikaduha, dapat po siya mo-monitor o mo-evaluate sa plans, sa programs o sa project sa isa ka department to para ma-ensure pwede nga effective imong pag-implement anang mga programs. So, next, dapat po siya mo undertake og research studies o dapat yun siya magtabo og mga service para ma-continue ang pag-analyze sa tourism industry. Kay we also need the support of our respondents and their views and opinions and suggestions. So, we really need to undertake research studies and surveys. So, ikapat, dapat ta mag-compile o mag-integrate o statistical data on the tourism industry and publish the same. Number 5, mo-coordinate ka sa og assist sa implementation sa tourist-oriented projects, mga plans o operations sa local government, mga government agencies, mga public corporations, mga kanang clearly necessary and feasible bitaw. So those of private entities so as to make possible to the accelerated balance and growth and development of tourism in the Philippines, which is responsible to the needs of targeted travel markets, domestics and foreign, and beneficial to a greater number of Filipino communities. Kaunom, dapat po siya maka-analyze sa specific geographical areas with potential tourism value leading to the preparation of a national tourism development plan which will maka-establish og order sa priority sa development plan sa tourist zones. So, dapat makatuod sila. So number 7, dapat po mag-formulate og government plans sa kada zone in coordination sa mga government agencies o sa local government unit, mga LGU. So mag-exercise og political jurisdiction over the area, provided nga ang plan sa zone kay ma-develop siya og mo-cover og aspect nga mo-pertain sa tourism. Mo-provide og further na tourism development plan nga fully coordinated og na-integrated sa other sectoral plans for the area. And dapat po siya mo-coordinate sa appropriate local government units and other government agencies to assist in formulating and implementing zone regulations, including mga building codes, mga hotel standards, and such other restrictions as may be necessary within a tourist zone to control its orderly development, preserve just such historical, cultural, or mga natural assets or relics, giving the zone its tourism value and significance, and assure adherence to approved zone development plans. So lastly, dapat po siya mo-ensure through proper coordination sa mga appropriate government agencies and mga local private agencies. So the social growth sa isa ka community within a tourist zones need to be carefully controlled. Possible negative social impact brought about by tourism development. So we'll proceed to our next office, is the Office of Product Development, and it should also have the following functions, which is to develop and conceptualize new products which can lead to enhancement of tourist sites and facilities. So number 2, dapat mo siya mo undertake og pilot tests for testing the viability and acceptability sa new tourism related products and programs. O dapat mo siya mo encourage o promote sa joint undertaking sa mga private sector o mga new tourism related products o programs. Lastly, we have Office of Tourism Coordination, which shall also have the following: mag-initiate o mag-coordinate sa mga sectors, sa mga both sa gobyerno o sa mga private sector sa development sa national tourism plans o policies. O dapat mag-coordinate o mag-prioritize sa activities o projects sa department o other government agency o mga private sector. Nakatulo, dapat siya mo enlist o assistance o support o any or tanang mga government agencies o para sa implementation sa policy sa isa ka department. O lastly, dapat siya mo-provide o support sa tanang tourism related activities sa private sector needing government assistance. So that would be the end of my report about the bureaus and offices, and I will now give my screen to Ms. Debatos. Thank you for listening.
So, hey guys, so for the last topic of the group, I'll be discussing the agencies of the Department of Tourism. So, the agencies of the Department of Tourism, first list is the Tourism Promotions Board. So, Tourism Promotions Board, or the TPB, is responsible for marketing and promoting the Philippines domestically and internationally as a major global tourism destination, highlighting the uniqueness and assisting the development of its tourism products and services with the end in view of increasing tourist arrivals and tourism investment. So TPB under the under the section 45, so it says that under the supervision of the secretary and attached to the department for purposes of
program and policy coordination shall be a body corporate known as the Tourism Promotions Board. So, the TPB shall formulate and implement an integrated domestic and international promotions and marketing program for the department. So, TPB is commonly used, or its role is simply to advertise or to make marketing in order for the economy of, or for the Department of Tourism to be boosted or to be known globally and internationally. So they are in charge of the marketing. They are in charge for the augmentation or for the development of the economy in the aspect of tourism. So next is the Intramuros Administration. So Intramuros Administration is an agency of the Department of Tourism of the Philippines that is mandated to orderly restore, administer, and develop the historical walled area of Intramuros that is situated within the modern city of Manila, as well as to ensure that the 60th to 90th century Philippine Spanish architecture remains the general architectural style of the walled area. So from the word itself, Intramuros Administration, so they somewhat put importance to the building or to the appearance of the Intramuros, which is located in Manila. So Intramuros Administration it operates autonomously from the municipal government, although the mayor of Manila is a member of its board. So it was established on April 10, 1979 as the under now defunct Ministry of Human Settlements by virtue of presidential decree. So 1616 issued by then President Ferdinand Marcos. So Executive Order number 120 reorganized the Ministry of Tourism, which became the Department of Tourism. So under also designated the Intramuros Administration as an attached agency of the TOT. So it is the history of the Intramuros Administration, why it became the one of the agencies of the Department of Tourism. So mainly Intramuros Administration is an agency wherein they put high security of the existence of the Intramuros. So next, we'll proceed to the National Parks Development Committee, or the NPDC. So National Parks Development Committee is an agency of the Department of Tourism of the Philippines that is mandated to develop, preserve, and manage Rizal and Paco parks in Manila and other parks that may be assigned to it. So its office is located in the NPDC compound, T.M. Calao Street, Rizal Park, Luneta, Manila. So both the executive director and the deputy executive director are appointed by the President of the Philippines. So National Parks Development Committee is this agency put a high value on the Rizal and Paco parks, which it is a very important parks in that era, wherein up to now it is being secured, for it plays a high value to that area wherein it is first established or built. So now let's proceed to the Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority, or the formerly known as the Philippine Tourism Authority. So it is now known as the TIEZA, which is the Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority. So this is it brings development to areas with high cultural, historical, religious, heritage, and or ecotourism values, helping shape a deep sense of awareness and pride for the Filipinos' traditions, natural bounties, and uniqueness as a race. So TIEZAs attract private stakeholders to be shared partners in tourism development. So um, TIEZAs or TIEZ enjoy fiscal and non-fiscal incentives issued by TIEZA. So their investments will inevitably help create jobs and economic activities for local communities. So TIEZA basically operates and manages tourist facilities from Luzon to Mindanao. So these facilities offer services ranging from hotel and restaurant to specialized sports such as golf and scuba diving. So the Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority, TIEZA, a government-owned and controlled corporation attached to the Department of Tourism, was created by virtue of Republic Act number 9593, otherwise known as the Tourism Act of 2009. So it is responsible for implementing policies and programs of the Department of Tourism pertaining to the development, promotion, and supervision of tourism projects in the Philippines. So Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority or TIEZA's main tasks include building tourism infrastructure, designation, regulation, and supervision of tourism enterprise zones or TEZ, operation and management of TIEZA, asset, and the collection of the Philippine Travel Tax. So that is basically the role and the importance of TIEZA as one of the agencies of the Department of Tourism. Now let's proceed to the Duty Free Philippines Corporation. So the DFPC mandate and function. So as per Republic Act number 9593 and IRR or the Tourism Act of 2009, specific Duty Free Philippines Corporation provision. So according to the DFPC shall be a body corporate to operate the duty and tax free merchandising system in the Philippines to augment the service facilities for tourists and to generate foreign exchange and revenue for the government as established by the department under Executive Number 46. So in the performance of its functions, the DFPC shall have the general powers of a corporation established under the Corporation Code in the furtherance of its charter. So the Duty Free Philippines Corporation shall have the exclusive authority to operate or franchise out stores and shops that would sell, among others, duty and tax, so free merchandise, goods, and articles in international airports and seaports and in TEZ and port of entry throughout the country in a manner that first is competitive with international standards. Second is to effectively showcase Philippine cultures, craftsmanship, and industry, and efficiently and effectively generates foreign exchange. So according to Republic Act number 6768 as amended by Republic Act number 19174, an act instituting a Balikbayan program. So the Balikbayan law in relation to the Duty Free Philippines Corporation in recognition of their contribution to the economy of the country through the foreign exchange inflow and revenues that they generate provides balikbayans with special tax-free shopping privilege in government-owned and controlled operated duty-free shops. Because as we all know, balikbayan space contribute enough to the development or to the progress of the economy. That's why they are being privileged into this, or they are being specified into this law. So the law, which is under the administration of the Department of Tourism, includes a kabuhayan shopping privilege allowing tax-exempt purchase of livelihood tools and the opportunity of availing the necessary training to enable the balikbayans to become economically self-reliant members of the society upon their return to the country. So the law, which is under the administration of the department, is an outstanding Filipino-made product. So that's it for the Duty Free Philippine Corporation. Now let's proceed to the Nayong Filipino Foundation, or the NPF. So the Nayong Filipino Foundation was created to promote, encourage, and initiate research and development projects and activities in social sciences, humanities, social and amelioration, and allied fields. So the Nayong Filipino Foundation Incorporated was established primarily for the promotion of the research development project on social sciences, humanities, and other related fields. So it was registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. So as INON, it was registered as a non-stock, non-profit corporation. Then, President Ferdinand Marcos issued Presidential Decree number 37 establishing the Nayong Filipino Foundation on November 6, 1972. So the organization operated the cultural park, now referred to as the Old Nayong Filipino, was later ordered to close and cease operation by then President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo through Executive Order number 111, which was dated on June 2002. So the park maintained in overseeing, maintaining, and preserving its assets. Now, the Nayong Filipino Foundation established presence at the Clark Expo site in Pampanga in last 2006. So the NPF was designated as the manager and operator of the Colonial Plaza and the chosen island segments of the exposition site. However, the attraction was later became dormant. So, President Arroyo issued Executive Order number 615 on April 2, 2007, which obliged the transfer of the Nayong Filipino Cultural Park to the 15 hectares property of the Philippines Reclamation Authority, or the PRA, in Parañaque to be swapped with the NPF's property of the same acreage. So that's it for the Nayong Filipino Foundation. So now let's proceed to the Philippine Retirement Authority, or the PRA. So PRA is mandated to develop and promote the Philippines as retirement haven as a means of accelerating the social and economic development of the country, strengthening its foreign exchange position at the same time, providing further best quality of life to the targeted retirees in a most attractive package. So the Philippine Retirement Authority is a government-owned and controlled corporation attached to the Philippine Department of Tourism, so mandated to attract foreign nationals and former Filipino citizens to invest, reside, and retire in the Philippines with the end view of accelerating the socio-economic development of the country, contributing to the foreign currency reserve of the economy, and by providing them the best quality of life in the most attractive packages. So, Philippine Retirement Authority is being introduced because it is, its role is to attract citizens from Philippines or from others to retire in the country, Philippines, with the given offers that would make them decide to retire here in the Philippines. So now, let's proceed to the Philippine Commission on Sports and Scuba Diving as the last agencies of the Department of Tourism. So, PCSSD, or the Philippine Commission on Sports Scuba Diving, is hereby mandated to first promulgate programs and projects geared to the development of the country as a premier diving area in Asia. Second, formulate rules, regulations, safety standards, and operating procedures to implement the development of sports scuba diving. Third, the commission shall undertake studies, researches, and surveys from for possible incentives to the private sector who may wish to undertake projects and programs beneficial to the development of scuba diving tourism within the framework of related presidential decrees. And lastly, the Commission is expressly directed to formulate and implement programs on marine conservation, particularly those areas of high touristic value. So the PCSSD is strengthened by the Republic Act number 9593, Tourism Policy Act Section 31, first attaching the PCSSD to the Department of Tourism. That's why it became part of the agencies of the Department of Tourism. Second, it intensifies measures to provide the standard basic dive rules to all levels or kinds of divers. Third, to regulate scuba sports and technical diving in the country. And lastly, to coordinate closely with the Office of Tourism Standards and Regulations for accredited process. And that's it for the last topic of this group, and I hope you have learned something from our group, and see you when I see you. Thank you.